Men are really scary. Men is the horror. I didn't, like,
That's we're beginning the video
and
on
for you to do, because I was
that.
thinking, I was a artist. Wait, I'm gonna start again. Yeah.
Everyone.
I'm Zaynah Sanusi. I was the hair and makeup artist for Roach. I've been a hair and makeup artist for over 13 years. First, when anyone says Melissa's name, I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what was the drawing. And then you sent me your script, and then I spoke to you, and I was just like, this is so out of my comfort zone because I'm not really someone who's into horror.
Mhm.
But then I was just like, as I read it and I got to know the script a bit more, I saw how the character was developing. I was just like, yeah, it just feels right. Like it just felt right. Bonnie was meant to be like a shy, timid girl. It's not the glam typical teenager. She's just a normal teenager who
Oh
wants
my God.
to just be on her vibe, get her money, try and transition into adult life. And I was at when I got the direction for what she should like look like, I was a bit like, it didn't make sense to me until I was actually making the wig.
Mhm.
Then when I was done, I was just like, okay, this is the character.
Yeah, because we also one of the biggest references as well was this character called Marin from the film called Bones and All, and that's where
Yep.
I kind of took the Fringe idea from. And actually, funnily enough, like that Fringe idea was taken from another film. Another film's taken this thing. It's just like they can pass down this whole Fringe thing. But again, I think like her, I definitely like her innocence as well had to really come through. And our actress, she she isn't 17, but I think like the way that you kind of made her look to kind of be and have that innocence, I think was really strong, especially with like, the pigtails and stuff like that. Like, again, it really just did make her look like a kid. So I'm very grateful for that. But I think, I mean, did you kind of enjoy like putting this character together?
I loved it. And the thing is that I pretty much did like the majority of the work in like one night. So after we did like before the date, it was literally I fixed the wig the day before the fitting.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like just do it, just do it, just do it. And
Yeah,
I did it
exactly.
and I saw it. And then when we put it on her the next day, I was like I was just so shocked about the character transformation, which is like I've seen it all the time, but I still get shocked every time when a character is born
Yeah.
because for someone to sit down and say da 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 da, write a story da 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 da, then I be the person who uses my hands to actually make that create character come to life. It's very nice.
It is. It's hugely satisfying, and I think you did an amazing job with it. And again, I love that process as well, being able to translate something to another artist and then for them to like do it to a T as well. And I feel like that's like what everybody kind of did on this production is like everything I kind of asked for, they did it, and then even more on top, which I'm really grateful for.
Getting to know each and every person on the crew.
Yeah.
I think this set in particular, it just like everyone just brought their A game when it came to like professionalism.
Mhm.
And I just really appreciated that. Seeing like being in a team in general always blows my mind because it's just like, how are all of us doing so many different things, but we're all trying to get to one goal? Like,
Yeah.
it always amazes me. Working in my room, my makeup room is always a place for good vibes. The time that I had to work with, I was quick, it was easy. I also enjoyed the fitting process because it was time for me to get to know everybody and understand more about the character. But yeah, filming, always. I didn't prepare myself for this question. I think the story is about men, how creepy
Just that.
men
Nothing else, just men. Like
just
how men.
men, how
Yeah.
creepy they can be. Men can seem sweet. Like you can see the oldest guy and be like, oh my god, he's so sweet. But you just never know a man's intentions for you. A man can smile in your face and be like, yeah, like, oh, okay, hello, darling, you're so sweet, you're so kind. But he can have the worst of intentions for you. And yeah, and that's very cockroachy. That's very grimy. That's very icky. That's very so, yeah, it taught me that what I got from the film was, yeah, just Men are really scary. Men is the horror. I didn't, I like,
That's we're beginning the video
and
on
for you to do, because I was
that.
thinking, I was just like, how is cockroach? How is, okay, not cockroach, how is roaches like the horror part? Like, okay, I know like they're not nice to be around, but there was just certain kind of like points in the film where it's just like, oh, that was really wrong. That was really wrong. I felt awkward watching that, and oh, I want to protect the girl's innocence. She just came to work. Just make a couple few teas, and you made her feel so weird. Like
Totally.
it wasn't nice.
You just want to do a job. Like, and I think you honestly hit the nail on the head with this, and you've made a really good connection, I suppose, about I
Yeah.
like horror was never the genre that I intended to kind of work with, but I think just again, just considering the horror of people in general, and I guess their capabilities, that in itself is enough to scare anybody and keep them up at night. It doesn't have to be gore or zombies or vampires or even cockroaches. I think just
No,
again, just your
it can be
everyday.
just men.
Yeah. And again, like the ending of this film as well is twofold. Like there's two different kind of reveals, and I think it's kind of up to an audience about like, I suppose, which is more horrific, or if they're kind of they're on the same level in a sense.
Mm.
One of them is perversion and then the other is a bit more supernatural, but it's kind of like it still has that same impact on you as a person. So again, we don't need to, and that's why we have this quote at the beginning of the film as well, like you don't need to go looking for dark alleyways or like dark forests or whatever to try and find the horrors. Like they're there every day on the street, the one that you like your neighbor, like again that they're everywhere.
I watched a podcast today, and it says the most dangerous thing to a woman is her husband, and he broke down evolutional science to
That's
prove the
great.
facts that yes, they are dangerous.
Again, stuff like
So
that is just like, can I live? Like, I want to live personally. I want to survive.
that
That's
was
also,
a really
yeah.
that was a really good piece of work. You went deep.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm glad that you kind of get it. I wish that more people kind of did as well. And I think it takes a while to, and that's like fine because, it's a film that isn't just surface level. You do need to kind of,
It's art.
it's art. That's Zaynah, it's art is the quote for this film. But yeah, I'm really grateful that you kind of like got it and understood it, and everything that you said is just like to the point.
I think it would be a kind of film to prove a point. If I was to tell somebody to, oh, let's watch this film, it would be a message to them.
Mhm.
Like, I would hope that they would watch that film and use their entire brains to think of the subliminal messages in
Yeah,
this film. That's it. It's a lesson.
yeah, I agree 100%.